Hi, I'm Michael LeBlanc, owner of Create with Consciousness, and welcome to Divine Dirt Inspirations. Today's inspiration, and they come from Divine Dirt, my latest book. It's a collection of inspirational and spiritual, metaphysical teachings, and they're all paired with pictures I took from my garden, and there's gardening tips in the back of the book. But today's inspiration is titled, "You Are Whole, Complete, and Limitless." And some of the stories I wrote as personal shares, right? Personal experiences. Some of them, though, I wanted to create an experience so I could bring the reader into an experience. Because I find whenever let's say it's a workshop I'm creating or facilitating, I know as a participant, if I can experience something during that workshop, it's more meaningful. If I read something and I have an experience while I read it, it's more meaningful and it lasts longer. So today's I try to create an experience for you. So I want you to just kind of settle in. If you do have the book Divine Dirt, I'm on page 11, and again it's the chapter titled "You Are Whole, Complete, and Limitless." And I want to just read it to you, and I want you just to use your imagination and come into this story with me. All right, here we go. So imagine you're attending a lecture, if you will, and you're going into this auditorium. And so we're all going into the auditorium and we take our seat. And the presenter, she comes out center stage. And you can tell she has a remote of some sort in her hand. And she just boldly says just to be still, and then immediately hits a button on this remote, and the entire auditorium is in pitch blackness, complete darkness. And it's one of those places where they're literally, when the lights are out, you can't even see your hand in front of your face, and you find yourself doing that. You're you're doing just like that in this experience. And she just leaves you in this darkness for a moment, and you can hear people are starting to kind of move in their seats, and it's just approaching that level of awkwardness and discomfort, like what's going on, and why is she just kind of leaving us in pitch black, right? And then all of a sudden she starts talking, and she says, "Are you this darkness, or are you simply experiencing it?" And then she just remains silent again and leaves you with that question as you sit in this black darkness and you can't even see the hand in front of your face. Then she continues and she says, "You may experience darkness, depression, anxiety, fear, but you are not it. You are not those things. You might experience abuse, tragedy, hurts, anger, disease, but you are not those things. You are not that illness. You may experience failures, limits, limiting beliefs, doubts, but you are not those limits and those limiting beliefs and those doubts." And then all of a sudden on the screen behind her, you see the entire audience. So you see yourself and everyone else that's attending displayed on this huge visual that's behind her. And the lights turn on in the room. And she starts with, "You are a divine expression, and you can experience many things, but you are not those things. You are a decision of the universe at this exact moment in time. You are divine love, intelligence, and it's expressing itself as the one and only you. You are whole, complete, limitless, regardless of any of your life experiences." And she says this boldly as she opens her arms, and you're still seeing the entire room. Then the images change, and you're no longer seeing yourself in this room filled with people. What you start seeing are these pleasant and unpleasant images, but they just start flashing, unpleasant, pleasant, unpleasant, pleasant. And you're just sitting there kind of taking that in. And she continues and she says, the conditions of your world do not decide who and what you are. Your true divine self has experienced much, but remains unharmed, whole, complete, intact. And that's true as we experience whatever it is we're experiencing. So if you're experiencing hurt or limits or discouragement or loneliness or illness or whatever that might be, your true nature, your true divine self is there and it's whole, intact. You are the will of an intelligence, a source, a divine consciousness, a God consciousness, she continues. You are greatness which has chosen to manifest in human form. Begin to remember who you really are. Live your life knowing you are already whole, not broken. Your brokenness is only an experience. It is not you. I'm going to say that one again. Live your life knowing you're already whole and not broken. Your brokenness is only an experience. It is not you. And then the room darkens again, and then it brightens again, and it does that a few times. And she says, when you turn on a light, the darkness dissipates because darkness is simply the absence of light. You feel less than or not enough because you forget who and what you really are. You are the light, and you're the light switch itself. And as she wraps up, she leaves us with one final comment. She says, you are the entire potential of the universe. And the lights go on even brighter, and she exits. So I just wanted to share that with you, and just to remember that regardless of what is going on in the outer world, regardless of how limited you might feel, it is an experience. And keep tapping into that true self, that divine self, that place of wholeness, completeness. It is just right there. It has not gone away. But you can't focus on the shortcoming and focus on your wholeness at the same time. Got to pick one. So I hope that helps. Appreciate you tuning in. If you have any comments, questions, reach out to me. You can reach me at my website. It's createwithconsciousness.com. Or you can email me at michael@createwithconsciousness.com. Also, Divine Dirt, it's a collection of pictures from my garden and inspirational pieces. And really the idea is just take a breath, open the book, read, and put it away again, right? Just put it aside. I believe words can uplift and they can bring people down. I believe images can do the same. So this is a collection of images and words that were meant to uplift us. I also started creating a line of shirts, and there's some coffee mugs. The idea is, you know, if you were wearing something like this one says you have more influence than you realize, and even though you might have to be 6 feet apart from people right now, they could still see, people will read your shirt, right, when you wear t-shirts. And that could be just the right thing they needed to hear. It could be an inspiration they needed to hear that day. Or maybe you needed to hear that day. A lot of these I wrote because I needed to hear them. And I started sharing them with people on social media as I would write them, and I was pairing them with pictures from my garden. And I was getting responses like people just needed to hear that today. So the book really just started out as some sharing that I was doing, and then it became a book. Anyway, again, I'm Michael LeBlanc. Divine Dirt is the name of the book. DivineDirt.net is where you can find the inspirational products. And again, you can reach me at my website at createwithconsciousness.com. If you have questions, if you are struggling, there's a lot of us out there. We're coaches. I do energy work as well. And just reach out, right? Just reach out. Don't struggle by yourself. See you next time.